everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Gilmore Girls, Season 2, Episode 20, Help Wanted.
Everyone is off their rocker.
Okay, we'll get that out of the way first. Rory talks to multiple people in this episode. Taylor, Babette, actually just mostly Taylor, Babette, Lorelai, and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. But everybody is like, it's just that good-for-nothing, low-down, two-bit, shabby Jess. He's the only bad person that's ever existed in this town. I know you would simply never do anything like this. Blah, 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 blah. It's so annoying. It is truly the worst. It's so over the top and ridiculous. And everybody is also like, thank God he's gone. And I'm like, can we get that out of our system before Luke comes back? Because that's still Luke's family member.
So weird.
Super weird. I especially hate the Lorelai stuff because she's like, I'm allowed to hate him forever. And I'm like, again, a child. Like,
it's not like he was drunk driving. An animal ran out in front of the car.
Which then leads me to the part that makes me the angriest. Because Rory is like, well, what if Dean had been driving and we had gotten into an accident? And Lorelai's like, Dean would simply never because he's responsible. And I'm like, it's called an accident for a reason. Dean could easily get in an accident.
Oh, the other conversation was with Dean. It's not even really a conversation. He read the letter and kicked his duffel bag.
Yeah. Violence.
But no, it's fine. He's responsible. He's just the greatest. Go fuck yourself.
Hate Dean.
Meanwhile, she was like fully expecting him to yell and scream at her.
Yeah.
No!
Bad news. Yeah. Because Lorelai gets her out of Friday night dinner so that she can, like, be there to talk to Dean, because if he finds out from someone else first, it's gonna be worse.
So ridiculous.
Which is, like, that's just, like, that's, like, domestic violence.
Yes, this is the beginning signs of domestic violence. Yeah. Like, you're managing someone's anger.
Yeah.
And then there is a sign or, like, a showing of anger in a physical way that, granted, it was a duffel bag, but who's to say it's not someone's stomach one day? You know what I mean?
It's more likely he'd escalate to, like, an animal first.
Yeah. But
regardless. So that all is, like, super horrible, really annoying. And the like, part at Richard's party with Emily where she's like, I thought you were supposed to keep her away from that boy. It's just like, and Rory, like, properly, I wish that she had gone harder.
Me too.
At Lorelai, she does properly lose it. She's like, I'm the one who told him to keep driving. Like, it's just as much my fault. And Lorelai just, like, refuses to hear it. And that, like, never really comes up again. She just also, it's like ascribing so much shit to Jess because she's like, I know you think he's your friend. And I'm like, no, he is her friend.
Yeah.
And they had it's an accident. I just, like, that's the stuff that, like, drives me nuts, where it's just like, you don't know anything about him. Because again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, the only actual real negative experience that Lorelai had with Jess was the first night he arrived in Stars Hollow.
Yep.
That's it.
And then after that, it's just bad attitude.
Yeah.
And sarcastic remarks.
Which, again, he's entitled.
Yeah.
To his bad attitude.
And she had a bad attitude when she was at that other diner accosting that waitress.
So Luke has gone fishing. I think he's justified too.
Yeah, no, I would fuck right off.
Go fishing longer.
Yep.
So they are trying to find food, basically the whole episode, somewhere else. And they do go to this, like, other, like, breakfast spot where apparently where Michelle eats his breakfast.
Listen, I am starting to understand and side with his attitude towards her more and more, because I would be exhausted from her as well.
Yeah. And so you're right. She is kind of a bitch to the waitress about, like, the tiny, tiny coffee cups. And I'm like, she was already gonna leave the carafe.
Exactly. You just ask for her to leave the carafe. You don't be like, can you bring me something else that you probably don't have?
Well, also, what's funny to me is that they asked for, like, 3 separate cups. So can we just get, like, a couple of cups of coffee? And I'm like,
just refill it. You monsters, leave service workers alone. Their shit or your shit has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
They are there to do a job for literally no money.
Yeah. So she also gets a burger, like a takeout burger later, and it's, like, not very good. So they're missing Luke's food, obviously. But Lorelai also seems to not think that Luke is gonna hold a grudge at all.
Right.
And I'm like, Imagine.
Main character energy.
Imagine the attitude.
How could he hate me? Oh my
She's
God.
like, it's gonna be totally fine. Like, it was like a kind of a thing, but like, it'll be fine. Like, it's over, it happened, it's done. And I was like, you said hateful things to him.
Yeah.
I would be mad at you still.
And about his family.
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, say what you want about me, but even though I talk shit about my family, you don't get to talk shit about my family.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
There have to be boundaries about stuff like that. So, I guess another small part of this is that they're opening a music store in Stars Hollow, and Lane, it's run by Carol Kane, who also sings the intro music. And Lane has become enamored of the drums, and she would like to make a deal with the shop owner, whose name is Sophie. She comes back a handful of times. And she wants to exchange basically services for letting her practice on the drums and play them and hang out. And so Sophie finally allows it, and then Lane is like, but can you turn the lights off? Because my mom sometimes walks by this way, and she's going to do it while her mom's at her like Bible club or whatever. Bible club. Like Bible study, I think. They are also Seventh-day Adventists. I don't know if that helps you at all. She also offers to teach Sophie Korean. Mm-hmm. And I love that when she's like, why would I want to learn Korean? And I'm like, I would love a Korean person to just be like, I'll teach you Korean. Mm-hmm. Love it. Yeah, teach me Korean. And then I guess the main part of the episode is Richard he's gotten his articles of incorporation. He's starting this new job, or this new company, but his secretary, Margie, is refusing to come with him because he can't even meet her current salary. Mm-hmm. I would not go with him.
I wouldn't either.
Mm-hmm.
A bitch has gotta eat,
bitch has gotta eat. And so because Margie can't come, he is then going to just scrap the whole thing.
Oh my God, I can't do anything.
But Emily,
it's all over.
But Emily is totally, well, of course you can't do it without Margie. Emily is totally willing to just let this, and Lorelai is like, you absolutely can't do that. What the hell is the matter with you? So she comes in for like about a week to help him get his office set up, interview some people, get some supplies, like get everything like originally organized. Well, I like half like it and I half don't. I love that Richard is having such a good time with Lorelai, and that he can recognize how good she is at her job, that he wants to keep her around. And he is like not unwilling, but like very resistant to hiring somebody else because he's having a nice time with Lorelai.
Yeah.
I love that. However, he's like, I know you have your own job, but like, you can't just like rush into this. And I'm like, you can though. You just easily could hire any of these people. There were like so many resumes.
Yeah, but I mean, he's had the same secretary, for so long, and he's an old man.
I get it. It just is like, it's not, while I love that he wants to spend time with Lorelai and like do this, and it's like a positive working relationship, I hate that he does not respect her time and her job. And he's like, we'll just do it tomorrow. What about tomorrow? And she's like, I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
Like, I have responsibilities at my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other main like part of this. And so then finally they kind of get into it. And he ends up hiring, I think her name was Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have like Emily sets up a party. And that's where Rory and Lorelai get to their big fight about Jess. That's like largely it. I think my favorite part of this episode is the end scene with Rory and Luke, because she decides to go home after they get in a screaming match outside of Richard's office, which fair.
Yeah.
She's like, my arm hurts, I'm grumpy, and I'm humiliated, so I'm a head out. So she sees Luke coming home from fishing, and he invites her into the diner to make her coffee, and he has her get a donut and everything, and she finally is like, hey, Luke, it wasn't his fault. And he's like, I know.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
The two of them are the only ones.
Yeah.
That are in the real world.
Yeah.
About what happened.
Okay, I agree with you. However, I really do like Babette's whole story about how, like, I know what those kind of men are like, and,
Yeah, I mean, because, like, we choose the bear. But that is not what's going on in this instance.
No, of course it's not. I just love when Babette gets going on like a yarn, and she's like, there was this guy looked like Mickey Hargitay, and like it just keeps going. Then I guess she was like a Hare Krishna in the
like
airport.
That, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I find Babette and Miss Patty, like, very funny. Yeah, God, the Dean thing was really medium.
I just hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, real question. When you were watching this live,
yeah,
were you like, yeah, no, Lorelai has every right to hate him because she came back broken?
No. Okay, so I said in the last episode that I sort of used to understand where she was coming from, like, in her response to Luke.
Mm-hmm.
That remains. I can see her side of that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see her side of this because he is a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I also always liked Jess, and I was like, he's just like low-key a dick. Like, he's not, like...
That's why I'm just curious, because it's like, I'm obviously watching it
Yeah.
as a 37-year-old woman.
Yeah, no, even at the time, I was like, everyone's doing too much. And you can tell the whole time that Rory is trying to be like, it wasn't his fault. Like, can you, like, I want it, but nobody will let her speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so then finally, when she, like, yells at Lorelai, she kind of gets her point across. But it's like, I think she also, after she has that talk with Lorelai, I think she also knows that nobody except for Luke will, like, meet her.
Yeah, well,
where she is.
Well, I think that she gave up too easily with Lorelai, because Lorelai just, like, see, I'm right, because Rory was just like, whatever. And I don't know, she just gave in too quick.
Yeah.
And, like, I understand if she maybe, like, realized that, you know, they were making a scene at a party, but, like, at that point, I would want to make a point of, like, I am not this docile, doe-eyed little baby. Like, I told Kristen out there I would want to take the Jeep and go wreck the Jeep for shits and be like, oh no, look what happened. I wrecked a car.
Well, she doesn't wreck the Jeep, but there is sort of like a metaphorical Jeep wrecking in the next episode.
Okay.
But it's like not actually, at no point is the connection made to this, where it's not like Rory doesn't do something in retaliation for this. It's just that she does something that is semi-hurtful to Lorelai.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not on purpose, but it does end up in, like, a not awesome spot for the moment.
Okay.
But there's only 2 episodes left, and they end on, like, an okay. Everything ends on, like, a pretty good note. This is going to be probably a pretty short one, because I'm basically out. Like, that's mostly it.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say. So
it's one of the things that I wish there was more of, and obviously they interact a lot, but there's not a lot of moments like this with Luke and Rory. And I love these moments with Luke and Rory because he loves her.
Yeah,
he does love her.
He said it in the last episode. He was like, I love her more than myself.
Yeah. She's also not his kid. She has a mom and an absentee father. But that's the thing where it's like these moments, and like when they're so in sync about stuff like this, when he knows that it wasn't Jess's fault, and he knows that Jess knows that it wasn't totally his fault. And Rory, I love that Rory vocalized it to him, and that he's not holding a grudge against Rory for Lorelai's behavior.
Yeah.
The whole thing
because
is
it would
really
be
nice.
very easy for him to do that to her. So
he even asks, "Where's your mom at tonight?" And she says, "A party for my grandpa." And I don't know. It just
I don't know. If you're itching for a tangent, just watch our last episode about the American education system.
So he also, Luke does also say that Jess made it back to his mom's, and he's going to send his things back. I want to say that, like, from here on out, Jess is, like, good, but he has, like, some more dickishness at the beginning of season 3.
I mean, at this point, it's warranted. Be a big a dick as you want.
You're allowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is, like I said, largely it. This is a pretty short episode. But there's not really much else. The townspeople and Lorelai are a bag of dicks, and Luke is the only one who gets it.
Yeah.
And Dean is awful. Just the worst.
Hate Dean forever.
There's just like 8 more episodes where they're together.
I don't like it.
Oh God. All right. Well, let us know what you think about this episode. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Bye.